This is Mike Franklin, the property tax guy. Today is November 20th, 2024, and I'm going to talk about the Oswego County Legislature meeting that was on the 14th. I spoke a couple of times at it, and the reason I spoke twice is that you can speak on the resolutions, but you have to speak on topic. And then at the very end, you can speak, on any topic that you want. But usually by the end, people are either gone or disinterested. So it's better to talk on the resolutions. But if you don't have a topic for the resolutions, then you can't talk in that time frame. So this month they had some resolutions they were going to vote on. One being to give the district attorney $85,000 for furniture. And they also talked about giving a percentage of proceeds from prosecutions from the traffic program to the district attorney. So I wanted to speak on that issue, and then on the public issue, I continued to discuss the talk on the behaviors of the district attorney and the sheriff. And I heard through the grapevine that the district attorney was laughing during both of the times that I was speaking. And so I thought I was done going to these meetings, but apparently I'm going to have to go again next month and talk about what's funny about what transpired, what it is that I spoke about. Was it funny that that the district attorney lost his case in maliciously prosecuting a member of the public because he didn't file timely to make it a speedy trial? Is that what was funny? He's supposedly representing the people, and apparently he thinks the people wanted to prosecute this person for speaking out at a public meeting, asking whether there were going to be minutes to the executive session. That's essentially what she was arrested for. There was more to it than that. The whole scenario was premeditated, but that's ultimately what she was arrested for. But anyway, I spoke that the district attorney shouldn't be getting any luxury items until he can learn to have respect for the taxpayers' money. And the fact that he was laughing while I was speaking is kind of indicative, of the attitudes of both the district attorney and the sheriff. They don't think that they're accountable to anyone, and that needs to change. Like I say, the district attorney he prosecuted this case and he lost. Now, perhaps he lost on purpose. So is the other thing that's funny that he may have lost purposely because he knew that he'd gotten into a situation where if it went to trial, a lot of people were going to be embarrassed, including himself, the sheriff, and the supervisor for the town of New Haven. And so I suspect that he purposely did not timely file. But here's the thing. If you're going to prosecute somebody, you should know the facts ahead of time instead of learning the facts halfway through and then learning that you've made a grave error, that you're going to get your butt beat and you're going to be embarrassed. And that's just plain negligent. If you don't just charge anybody that the sheriff says to charge. The district attorney's job is to look into to see what's appropriate. And it's pretty apparent that he didn't do that. Is that what was funny? Is it funny that the deputies apparently aren't being trained properly on the law? Is that funny? Is it funny that they shackled this person in leg irons going to the arraignment? Is that funny? Is it funny that they abused under the color of law, maliciously prosecuted this person? Is that funny? So I'm just failing to get an understanding of what it is that he thinks is so funny. So, again, there's issues with the sheriff's department as far as professionalism, as far as training. That deputy was porky and unprofessional. And my question is, what leads her to believe that her behavior was appropriate? Pretty apparent that it's the training and supervision that she has is what led her to think that that was appropriate. And what is it that led her to believe that she could get away with it? Well, apparently because the sheriff agrees that her behavior, her porky and unprofessional behavior was appropriate. So that's why. And so I'm going to suggest that this is not an isolated incident. It happens all the time. And these people fail to understand that they work for the public and that people are innocent until proven guilty. And it's not the sheriff's job to be punishing people. It's the court. That's the job of the court. And so that's exactly what they did. They put her in jail overnight. They shackled her legs. They wanted to teach her a lesson. And it's not their job to be teaching people's lessons. That's what the court is for. And so, I don't know, maybe he thinks that's funny. So, and the other thing that occurred to me is, why is the sheriff talking to the known criminal? Why is he buddying up to the known criminal, Dan Barney, the supervisor of New Haven? Why is he buddying up to that guy? Why are they having a phone call, colluding, discussing what's going to transpire at the meeting, premeditating this arrest? Does Dan Barney have something over the sheriff's department? It makes you wonder. And I think I don't know how many times Dan Barney was mentioned in the book Scrapped, about the Heidi Allen case. I'm wondering if there's some connection between the Dan Barney, the sheriff's department, and the Heidi Allen case. It might explain why he was never solved. It was never, and it might explain why they put an innocent man in jail until he died. I suspect that perhaps the judiciary was in on it as well, to protect the taxpayers from a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So they kept the guy in jail, even though they knew he was innocent. And so it makes you wonder what's going on with that sheriff's department when the sheriff is buddying up to a known criminal, Dan Barney, and according to the Post Standard reporter, he's been arrested at least 19 times. And why is the sheriff hanging out and chumming up to a guy like that? That's what I think is funny. Well, it's not really funny at all, is it? So anyway, we'll be stopping out to the December county legislature meeting and see if the district attorney still thinks all this is funny. My observation after speaking at two of these meetings, and by the way, I'm not a guy who goes to town meetings and rambles on at the microphone. I've prior to this, I'd never gone to a public meeting for the purpose specifically to speak at a meeting. So this isn't just something I do, but I was just so outraged by the body cam footage that I saw of the behaviors of the Oswego County Sheriff's Department that I had to get up and say something about it. And my observation of looking over the crowd, and another observation is that there appears to be a vote of 22-2 on a lot of these issues. There appears to be 22 Republicans and 2 Democrats, and as far as people responding to what it is that I was saying, the 2 Democrats seem to have some sort of interest in what it was that I was saying. The rest of them were I just got blank stares from the rest of them. Hard crowd to read those folks. And it's interesting that the dynamics of a committee and how they, how they behave, and how do they, how do they get to what's right, hopefully, or what, where the money's supposed to be spent, or how the legislature thinks about the sheriff's department's behavior and the district attorney's behavior. It's really hard to know, but I thought it'd be appropriate to at least make them aware of what's going on. It's pretty concerning stuff, and how does it relate to property tax assessments? Well, it's peripherally related in as to how our government treats the taxpayers. There's some, they work for us, but I don't think it is that they view it that way. They think that we work for them, and do they treat taxpayers like customers? And my experience is most often they don't. And so that's how it's related. I'm interested in how our government treats the public, and that's why I'm involved in all this. Like I said, when I saw that body cam footage, something needed to be said. This needs to stop. We need a properly funded sheriff's department that are professional and are trained properly and know the law. And so right now there's professionalism issues, and it's pretty clear they're being trained improperly. They think they can ID people whenever they darn well please, and that's a Fourth Amendment violation. The Constitution is what's called the Supremacy Clause. Their policies, their local laws are subject to the Fourth Amendment, and they need to understand them. And they're going to get an education. It'd be nice if they just heard what I said and just conceded that that's the truth, or they're going to find out the hard way. And so that's what's going on in Oswego, and I hope to see you at the county legislature meeting in December. This is Mike Franklin, the property tax guy.